Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to COASTER-net Update. Tonight, we are going to be talking about two roller coasters that have either opened or tested recently. So we will be definitely talking about West Coast racers. Finally, right before the bell, Jeff, right before the bell, got in there under 2020. So it is a new for 2019 ride still. And then, of course, we also saw a Texas Stingray down at SeaWorld San Antonio test, and we saw some test videos out of that. So let's start with Texas, since that's, I guess, a new for 2020 ride. Looking at SeaWorld's calendar, this really shouldn't surprise anyone that this ride is pretty much ready to go, it seems. That if you look at their calendar, they're mostly closed for January and February, some weekend dates in February, and then their first full week of everyday operations is March 8th that week. So one would assume that Texas Stingray will be ready for when the park opens, you'd say, right, Jeff?
Yeah, it looks like they'll probably be the first 2020 ride. The park shared some test runs with water dummies on their YouTube channel and through other platforms. Looks interesting. I mean, it looks like it's moving. It looks like a lot of test runs where we say, oh, is it as fast or slow as we expect? So it's still a little tough to say, but, makes sense that they're testing it now. We might see some soft openings as the park opens to allow people to get on this thing. I can't imagine that they'd need to test it for more than a few weeks.
Yeah, it depends. I don't know with Texas. Every state's a little bit different with testing requirements. But usually when a ride starts testing, you can assume that's about a month away from really opening. That when we see that first test run video, you can usually say that, well, there's probably like a month left before it actually can have people be on it. Usually that's the time frame that we look at. So with this one, it's hard to tell because they also don't give us an entire POV. That they cut back and forth. They give you some POV shots. They give you some off-ride shots. So it's a little deceiving because when you see the on-ride stuff, it kind of looks like the animation. But then when you see the off-ride stuff, it looks a lot slower. But I think this ride's going to be pretty solid. That we haven't really talked about the new rides and where they rank and where we're anticipating them. But I think overall this ride's going to be pretty solid. I don't think it's going to be an Invader where Invader is good, but still in that family zone. Is this going to be a top tier GCI? No, I don't think so. My top tier GCI is Prowler, Mystic Timbers, Renegade, that type of stuff. Could it be a Kentucky Rumbler? Maybe. Could it be better? It's not going to be. Danny loves Gold Striker. You like Lightning Racer. It could be in that zone, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like White Lightning more, and that's their smallest one. So, anything that's bigger that's not better than that, you kind of like go, But they want it to be a bigger version of Invader is what the park said or the chain said. And it definitely kind of has that same vibe where it looks like it has a little bit of everything that's familiar with GCI. I do like that it has the turnaround into the straight drop instead of their signature curve drop, that it changes it up a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's making me buy a ticket to Texas, all by itself. But, I think for the park, it's going to be a big addition. A lot more to do there.
And that's a park that the coaster lineup is kind of slight. You got your Batman clone in Great White. You got Steel Eel, which is a pretty good ride up front, is a complete disaster in the back row. Like you break a rib almost with some of the drops onto the track. Front row, it's an amazing ride. So not amazing might be too strong of a word. Is a pretty good ride. In the back row, it's not one you want to do. And then you got your Journey to Atlantis, which is barely a coaster. So this, and then you got Wave Breaker too. Which is a decent ride. It's a family ride too. So there is no question in my mind that Texas Stingray probably will be the best ride in the park. I would be almost shocked to think that it wasn't. it would have to be really slow, I think, with that amount of length of track and what we saw in the animations. It'd have to be a lot slower for it not to be better than a steel eel or a great white, I would think. So, and I think it down to Texas this year. There's a shot here.
This is a record-breaking coaster
for Texas. Well, it's yeah. Well, maybe.
I think the strength of the air.
You got the Galveston Woodies too.
No, it's bigger. They said it's bigger. That was their target. Yeah.
Because a lot of people like the Kima Boardwalk's Boardwalk Bullet. They talk highly of that one. So this one has a little bit to live up to. And then of course you've got Switchback down at ZDT, also in San Antonio, or right outside of San Antonio, I should say. So there's some wood coasters. We just assume that, well, since Six Flags doesn't have any, that there's no wood coasters in Texas, but or good wood coasters. Got Judge Roy Scream as well. But speaking of Six Flags, look at that segue there, Jeff. You like that? So, yes, talked about Six Flags, and now we're going to talk about West Coast Racers that had a media preview, had a pass holder preview. It is officially open right under the bell for 2019. What were some of your thoughts of that?
I think that was probably exactly their plan, right? I mean, that's the theme. West Coast Customs. It's late, over budget. It's here.
Yeah, well, this is one that has been plagued with problems since the start. There were rumors of people in the neighborhood being upset. There were rumors of the soil being wrong. There were rumors of the wrong supports being like. There were so many different things going on here, and it's hard to nail down. Maybe it was all of them combined. Who knows? But it's open now, and I don't know what they're doing here, because it's got the same problem, not the same problem, has a similar problem to Twisted Colossus, where one train has to wait for the other train in the mid-course. This seems to be even more pronounced with some of the POVs that are out there. And granted, it's pass holder day, it's media preview day, so things that, operations might not be completely up to speed, but we know from Twisted Colossus that ride has a hard time racing, and now you're forcing this one to race every time. It seems that there isn't a choice just to send one out onto the track. I could be wrong about that, and they could change that maybe depending on how many trains they have out there, but it seems to me that you're forcing this to race.
Yeah, I mean, I'll reserve judgment on the timing after that whole thing it looks like it's not complete. In the POV, It does look like it's not complete. I don't know if that's just the way it's going to be for now, or if that's something that's going to get wrapped up before it's like open to the public. But that looks like there's like a little screen, so there could be like a show. So, I mean, if they talk for 20, 25 seconds and it's entertaining, and then you move out and you're ready to go in a few seconds, I think that's perfect. But if you're waiting there for a minute, I think you're going to have some bored people. But what I do like is it's a big ride. It's long. Mm-hmm. So you definitely get your money's worth out of your wait. You do get the 2 from 0 to whatever, dead stop launches, 2 rolling launches, lots of different elements. It looks good. Nothing crazy, but good.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, like, it doesn't look like it's out of this world amazing or anything like that. The second half, to me, seemed like it might have been better than the first half. It seems like it does a little bit more crazy stuff, a little back and forth, a little upside down stuff. Doesn't look like it has a crazy amount of speed on it, which is okay.
It's very low to the ground.
Yeah, it's low to the ground. Does it differentiate itself enough from Twisted Colossus? Probably. Like, I don't know.
Well, I don't think you're going to get confused being on a Premier ride and being on an RMC.
Yeah.
They're both going to, even if they were identical, I feel like they would feel different. I know they have a lot of similarities, but I think they have enough to stand apart as well. I don't think it's as odd as it was now as I did when it was announced, I guess.
Oh, no, I still think it's odd. I still think it's a very strange choice. And looking back on what we know for 2020, and we know Max Force. To me, I don't know. I almost feel like Jersey Devil might have, like, if we could just rearrange what they ended up doing. Like, I know Jersey Devils for 2020, if they would have made that for Magic Mountain, I feel that maybe the single rail at Magic Mountain would have made more sense. That West Coast Racers at Great America would have made more sense. And then maybe Max Force at Great Adventure, because Great Adventure doesn't have a real launch coaster, right?
Well, we have King Dakar, the realist long choice.
Well, that's true. Yeah, so
I know what you mean. Like, it doesn't have inversions. It doesn't have,
yeah, it still doesn't make sense because King Dakar is there. You're right about that.
I think West Coast Racers would make more sense. Where it's more about the the movement and the stunts and than the speed and the height.
Yeah, West Coast Racers would have been perfect out at Great Adventure. So maybe that was the trade. Maybe you just leave Great America with Max Force, and you would have traded Jersey Devil for West Coast Racers. Obviously, you'd need to change complete themes on those, but
Take them both.
It's still to me very strange choice being made to put West Coast Racers that is so similar to Twisted. And I'm not saying like you said, I don't think anyone's going to get confused on the two. But with the maneuvers and the high five stuff and the flipping over one another, it's like the exact same thing that Twisted Colossus does. Like the signature elements are basically the same. But it is open now, so that's exciting. I don't know if I'm going to get out to California this year. Maybe for Haunt, maybe for Not Scary Farm. So there's a chance there too. There's always a chance. But I bought my gold pass today, so I won't be attending Knott's Berry, because I got my Cedar Point gold pass. I'm part of that group now. So with these two rides testing and now open for 1-in-1. As always, I think we'll wrap it up there for this evening. I'm, of course, Andrew Barczyk from Chicago, Illinois.
I'm Jeff Goodman from Long Island, New York.
Right on, Red Warriors.
Good night.